Hello, it's a Randy Duck and welcome back for another video. Today I've got two replays to show you in the Tier 8 American Premium Tank Destroyer, the Roswell. Now you may or may not know, but this tank is now available to earn as for free in a contract. So what I've got for you today is two videos or two replays in the tank to show you what you could potentially be earning. So what is this tank? It's a Tier 8 American Premium Tank Destroyer. Which has a very decent turret armour. So when you are fighting tanks the same tier as you and you're using your gun depression, which this tank has 10 of, you can bounce an awful lot of shots off of your turret, and it's very capable of playing those ridgeline positions because of the gun depression. It does have a semi-rotatable turret, so that you can only you can't rotate it all the way. And then what it also has is one of its key feature is a speed boost. So basically, like the sort of Polish speed boost, which you can activate, which whilst you activate it, it decreases the accuracy of the gun, so you won't hit a lot when you're in that mode, but it increases the mobility of the tank. Now this feature is good, but however, I would kind of say, for my opinion on this tank, I'd rather it not have the feature, because the standard mobility is 35 kilometers an hour, and you go up to sort of like the sort of about 40 odd kilometers an hour when you activate the speed boost. I think it'd be better if it just didn't have the speed boost and you just had the speed boost mobility all the time. But you know, that's just my opinion of the tank, something which you'll see when you play the tank. It has a 400 alpha gun, and the gun is quite nice. You've got decent DPM. I think the DPM is about 3,200 for me in my current setup, which we'll see shortly. So the gun feels really nice, and you've got 232 penetration on your standard rounds with 1,067 shell velocity. You then got 276 penetration on your premium APCR rounds with 1,240 shell velocity. So the gun is really nice on this tank. The concealment of the tank I've got down to about 260, so you can play that more stealthy role as a tank destroyer because of that, but also because of your good turret armour, you can sort of play a bit more aggressively and get into them hold down positions. But when you're fighting sort of the higher tier 10 tanks, they can still go for your turret, so that's something to be conscious of. But that's enough of me rambling on about a tank. I just thought I'd quickly go over it, but because it's like a new sort of tank, and then we just get into the replays now, which I'll explain as the replays progress. Okay, so here we are for replay number 1 then on Cliff, and we are top tier. And if you want to see the equipment I am using and the crew setup, you will see that at the bottom of the screen as we speak. Now there's no artillery to contend with, and there's one enemy light tank. Now initially I am going to play fairly aggressively, and I'm going to take, I must admit, somewhat of a gamble and try and get into the bowl. Now that is risky because I could lose a lot of hit points coming in, because I'm not the fastest of tanks, and if I get no support, it might not end well. But I took a gamble based on the fact that I'm top tier, and because it can be quite boring playing Cliff, just sitting at the in the 1-2 line camping. And to be honest, I just don't want to do that. That's not how I like to play. I want to really get into the fight. But just wanted to make you aware this is somewhat of an educated gamble. And thankfully we come in and we only lose a little bit of the hit points, so it could have gone a lot worse. But we now got to this initial position, and the first thing I'm going to do is focus out this enemy tank destroyer who we have just missed. We've had to deactivate the speed mode. The actual track reverse is quite slow on this tank, something to be conscious of. But I'm trying to side scrape now against this Porter Mill and just try and take care of this tank first, because until I kill this tank from this angle, I can't climb up the bowl without getting shot in the rear from this tank. So that's why you see me focusing this tank out first, because I know that I need this tank to be destroyed if I'm going to try and contend with that medium tank which is behind me, and it's all about speediness of killing this tank. But now we kill that and we eliminate that threat, that now frees up our attention to go and turn with this medium tank at the top. And we know that we are top tier, and we know we've got 10 degrees of gun depression, so we can play ridge lines like this quite well. And if we're able to go hold down the enemy tank will have difficulty penning our turret if that's all what we're able to present to the enemy team. So that's what we're going to try and do, is try and go hold down here. We do have support from this medium tank behind me, and I'm just trying to just punish in this tank as much as I can. The 400 alpha fuel is really nice when you're hitting those tier 8s, and as you can see, this medium tank has been forced to retreat, because otherwise I was probably going to kill that tank there. With the fact that we also have hill control, he wasn't going to be safe in that location. But now we're in a good position for our team, because we've won the top here. We're in a good position. If anything crosses here, we can get shots, and we have the hill control as well. But you can see by his enemy light tank, he tries to leave, we get a shot in, and I'm kind of getting the feeling here that not a lot of tanks have trying to push up the top, and my gut feeling is a lot of them are going to be camping in the 1-2 line. We do have an enemy heavy tank crossing though, and we will put a shot into that tank as he crosses. And starting this game fairly strongly with 2,000 damage now and 1 kill, and we're just ready to in case that heavy tank crosses. If he doesn't cross, the fact that we're kind of confident there's not a lot up the top with us, we're going to push across here and try and spot the tanks in their base, because remember we do have hill control to support us as well. We put a lovely shot there into that KV2. We keep paying attention, because we don't want to get shot from the right hand side by that heavy tank, but it doesn't look like he's able to poke with the fact we have hill. I get derped there by splash damage by that KV2, but this is kind of a good example of when you are top tier and you'll hold down, how effective your turret armour is in this scenario. Now, I do want to make it clear that if you're fighting against tier 10 tanks, so don't expect to be bouncing all of the high penetration heat rounds, etc. But when you are in this scenario, I can bounce a lot of shells. I just bounce the Borsig off of the turret there, and I'm already up to, what, 2,400 blocked here off of the turret, and I'm in a very, very dominant position, because we pretty much have all the control of the map now. The enemy team are forced into that one location, and at this point I know the game is won. It's just about how much damage we can get. We do unfortunately get penned in the side of the turret there by a tank on our left, which puts us onto a one-shot to a few of these tanks. That is because, yeah, we just got penned in the side of the turret. It'd have more difficulty penning me if it was in the front of my turret. But we're trying to focus the tank which did pen us and just get as many shots in as I can. I'm just trying to get as much damage out as I possibly can. We're on 2,800 with 1,400 assistance now. Sorry, we're on 4,600 damage, I should say, with 2,800 blocked and 1,500 assistance. We're having a good game. There's a Borsig left in this corner, which we're hoping will get detected and maybe we can get a shot in. Apart from that, there's only one more tank remaining, a medium tank on the right, which has now been taken out. And now it's just this one enemy Borsig. As you can see, the tree has been knocked down. And at this point, I've pretty much given up hope of trying to get the kill unless he pokes. I probably should move across to the left-hand side a bit, so I have a bit of a wider angle. So in case he peeks, I've got more opportunities to shoot him. But I'm kind of thinking this is all I'm going to get out of this game right now. And it's probably going to be over pretty shortly, as this Borsig is going to be surrounded by the entirety of our friendly team. And there we go, Borsig gets detected and he shortly gets taken out by our Sturmpanzer. And that's the end of the replay number 1. But we do have a really nice replay to follow up, and let's move on. So this one we get 3 kills, 4,600 damage, 1,500 assistance, 3,000 blocked, getting the high caliber, the first class and the steel ball. That's it for replay number 1. Let's move on to the final replay of the video. Okay, so here we are for replay number 2 then on Murovanka. Now we have 1 enemy artillery to contend with and 2 enemy light tanks. Now, unlike the first replay where it was a bit of a waffle stomp, let's be honest, this second replay is a lot different, and it's one of those ones where it's a lot closer, goes down to the wire, and we have to try to think about how we're going to achieve the victory. So, which is always, as I say, a lot more enjoyable in my opinion. When you have to really fight for that win, I just find it a lot more fun than having that, one side just absolutely stomps the other. So initially, we have decided that we're going to play this side and not the field. That's because I just don't feel my tank is best equipped to go the other side. And we can play this ridge line quite well in this tank destroyer with the 10 degrees of gun depression. And quite early doors, you can see this enemy Panther is caught out in the open. And I'm going to pay my attention on focusing this tank as quickly as I can to just try and get as much damage and eliminate that threat. Unfortunately, I do get penned. As I'm trying to shoot this Panther, I get shot by the right hand side by some of the tank destroyers have a bit more higher penetration, and obviously they're going through the side of my turret, and it does show the turret isn't unpenetrable. When you've got those big like SU tank destroyers, they can go through it. It would be more difficult if I was facing directly to them, but that's not the case. So I'm trying to get some damage into this enemy tank destroyer there. Pull back again, I get punished again, and not a great start to the game really. I think that's actually just gone straight through my commander's hatch there maybe, and it's not left us in the best of start. Although we have killed a tank and we've got about 1,000 odd damage, we are down now to half our hit points, and this is not ideal because when I am peeking to get damage, there's clearly tank destroyers right in the lighthouse on the right hand side which do have shots in, and again I am chancing it to pull these shots off here and get as much in as I can, but the start to the game is not ideal. It doesn't look like we have any field control, so that is a concern. It's just something I'm concerned with, that if the enemy team push down the field aggressively, we might be in an awkward situation where they potentially have rear shots onto us. So it's something we've got to contend ourselves with, and just be aware that we might have to do something about that a bit later on in the game. And then again we get penned again, and now we are really not in a great situation. We're on 340 hit points, and yeah, we have no field control, and this is not ideal at all. So the start to the game could have gone better, but we hold in there, and whilst we've still got hit points, while we're still a tank in the game, we can still do things. So we're pulling back right now, and we're gonna see if we can get a little bit further back and contend with those tanks which are pushed through the field. You can see you've got a light tank in the field and a medium tank. I suspect there's a few more tanks over there as well, and I'm thinking about pulling back and seeing if I can get any shots into them over that side of the ridge, but I'm reversing back here just in case I get detected. I want to be my frontal armour facing, but I do get spotted. Not in a great situation there, and I'm just trying to pull back now to get into cover so I don't get shut down, because I think I'm in two minds right now really. Do I want to I've got tanks here which are pushing around, and I've also got tanks behind us, so it's just not ideal, but we're going to see if we can get a shot into this enemy tank destroyer whilst it was up, and we do manage to squeeze that one in, putting us on to 1,500 damage and 300 assistance. And we've got an enemy, two enemy tanks in the bowl, I like to call that, in front of us. Now if they poke around, I want to be in a position to shoot them. I'm just waiting to see if this G-Saw does poke up a little bit too high and we can squeeze one into the side of his turret. But it looks like that G-Saw is coming around, and we get one shot in, he gets trapped in place. I'm hoping he's not going to be able to escape there, and thankfully he does get punished for that and get shut down by our friendly tank destroyer, and at least that eliminates that threat. But we're now down to a 9 versus 11. Got about 2,000 damage in, and I'm thinking to us, we don't have the map control, and my gut feeling is this is going to be a difficult win right now, and I might need to think about trying to pull back and just get as much out of this game as I can. But I'm just going to keep fighting all the way to that very end. I'm going to see if we can finish off this one-shot TD, just trying to eliminate one of the tanks. Try to get a shot into his turret there. Unfortunately, it doesn't hit. But I'm just waiting now to see if anything does get spotted with our tanks being a little bit further forward. But you can see an enemy light tank has pushed around and is now behind us. One thing you might want to consider with this tank is actually putting clutch braking on, so your traverse speed is a little bit better. That's one thing I might consider changing in the crew setup of this tank. Probably dropping just one of those things for that might be quite helpful. So thankfully that light tank does get taken out though, and that's at least killed. I think there's no enemy light tanks left on the enemy team, which is quite helpful. Going to try and get a shot into this enemy medium tank there. Puts us on to about 3,100 damage. Still a very close game, still very winnable. We are a couple of tanks down. 2 tanks are now starting to push across, past our cap circle into our base. But they are in the open, so we're going to go back and see if we can contend with these tanks and see if we can get any shots into these and deal with that situation before we then turn back around. Because I think we need to get the shots in while they are in the open. So we pull back over here, and I'm hoping our friendly light tank is going to spot them for us so we can get those shots in. And it looks like he is pushing forward to try and get the spot. Just want to be ready for when that happens, we can get the shots in. And enemy tank destroyer does get spotted. We should be able to squeeze in a shot into this tank, hopefully. Just waiting now, and we do squeeze one in, puts him onto a one shot. I'm hoping he's going to get stay lit, but unfortunately he does get undetected, and I'm just waiting to see if our light tank spots him again for us, and then we can take him out, because that would be an important kill right there. Enemy medium tank again gets spotted. We squeeze one into that tank, putting them onto a two shot to us, or a one shot if we get really lucky with a big high roll. But yeah, probably not going to happen. We have damaged his ammo rack though, which is good, and he's looking like he's going to try and retreat. Now, the fact that he's retreating makes me think there might not be too many more tanks down that situation, down that sort of field. And I think I need to really divert my attention back again to the tanks on the 1-2. But with the enemy tanks pushing up, I'm actually thinking my best plan now might be try to actually fall back completely and retreat and let them come into us. Because remember, they do still have a friend and a enemy artillery, and if that tank spots us in that open, it's not going to be ideal for us. So I've decided that I don't think there's anything down the field anymore, because that friendly light tank has killed the ISU 152, and there was the other tank was a medium tank which was last seen retreating. So my plan is to pull back to this side of the map, and when the enemy team push down the 1-2 line into our friendly tank destroyer medium, I'll be in a situation where I can actually have cover shots and use the good concealment which this tank also has, and play it in a different way, and actually, you know, just be there to support them. Because I don't want to all be in that one last location. I'm trying to get multiple angles, because I think that's our best chance of victory right now. So I'm going to have to play patient, because we are a one shot, and an enemy Brat Prince gets spotted, and we get a lovely shot in which sets him on fire and actually puts him into a one shot for our enemy team there. So that is very, very handy. If he pushes in the open now, I should have to finish. Unfortunately, the shot does miss, and it's not, it's not ideal, because I would have liked to confirm the kill, try and even up the scores. But I'm just staying patient and trying to cover my friendly team. I went for the blind shot in case he was still there. My friendly medium tank is now getting pushed by this enemy striker here. He kills our friendly tank destroyer, and now we do have a AMX autoloader in there, and it looks like he is clipping out that striker, which is good. If he kills that striker, it's going to be very, very useful to us. We do have the opportunity to finish the Black Prince, which we do. Evens up the score, puts us into a 3 versus 4 now, and we're trying to shoot this enemy medium tank, which is caught on the top of the ridge. It gets put very low hit points. I believe the striker gets taken out now, and our AMX in the corner is on a big reload. But this is turned this game from a situation where it was looking difficult for us to get the win, and I think in the end the decision to pull back has been a good one, because I was able to farm those tanks unspotted, and rather than be sat in the same location getting shot by the artillery, we've actually been able to kill those tanks. But I am going to push forward now. With our light tank pushing out the field, we know the field is clear, and I'm going to see if I can get a situation to support a light tank and maybe get some shots in to the stuff which he gets detected. I stopped for a second with that enemy tank, enemy artillery getting detected, and I thought maybe I could get a cross shot in, but our AMX 5100 does a really good job of taking him out, and he's having a good game here. That AMX is done very, very well. As well as our friendly light tank, it must be said, they've all done well to contribute to this game. So I'm pushing across and trying to get into a situation where I can shoot these TDs, which our light tank has spotted for us. Unfortunately, there is a few buildings in the way, so I need to move a little bit further forward, but I'm just trying to get this shot in. I'm waiting now because I've just seen where he was last detected. He does get spotted. We put that shot in, puts him into the one shot for our friendly light tank to take out, putting us onto 5,500 damage, 300 assistance and 3 kills, with 2 enemy tanks remaining. One being that medium tank, which is on a 2-shot to us, which hopefully we can be able to finish him off now because the light tank put a shot in, which we do. And now that brings us all the way back to 3 versus 1, and it's just that enemy Charmaine left. And I think from memory, he had taken a bit of a beating, so I think he's maybe a 2-shot or something. Yeah, he's a 1-shot now. He does take out a light tank though, which puts us back down to a 2 versus 1. But we are both a 1-shot to each other. I am more likely to outspot this tank, and my plan is to come up to these ridge lines so I can say hold down to him, try and get the jump on this tank, because he doesn't exactly know where I am right now. I haven't been spotted, and hopefully we can try and make this up to 6k mark and pick up our 5th kill of the game. So I'm deactivating the speed mode there, so I'm ready to fire because I'm expecting this tank to get detected just over this ridgeline. But he does get spotted, and our friendly AMX 5100 actually kills him, and they kill each other at the same time. So I ended up being the only tank alive there. And yeah, so really nice game to end up on. 4 kills, 5,700 damage, 300 assistance. I was expecting this one to be the ace tanker, but it actually was only the first class. But we do get the high caliber medal, and yeah, that is it for the video on the Roswell. Hope you enjoyed it, but as always, thank you so much for your amazing support, and happy tanking.
Enemy in sight! Hadouken!